Another guideline I would suggest is to notice your lows. I don't think that if you've eaten something with that has slowly digested food, that you should ever feel tired after eating. Uh, if you eat something and then within 30 to 90 minutes, you first say feel hungry again, and then right after get sleepy, or if you simply just get very sleepy, very, very tired after eating, then by all accounts, what's happened is that you've hit this. You've had some food that released the sugar too fast, and all that sugar got turned to fat for one thing, but now you're out of sugar and you have to eat again, or you're going to fall asleep. So if your lunch, for example, has you feeling tired every day in the afternoon, uh, consider that no matter what the ingredients seem to indicate, no matter what impression you have of that food, it's actually very fattening, and it's also not nutritious in the sense that those nutrients are all gone. The sugar that you need in order to be productive during the day, to be able to think, is all gone, and now you're hungry. So when you eat food, again, this is a more important test than any other. No matter what it seems, what you might have as a belief about that food, if you're noticing that you're tired after eating it, then you've had a sugar an insulin reaction. Studies seem to show pretty conclusively that having starch with fat is less fattening than having starch by itself. So for example, bread alone versus bread with butter. So I take this from the South Beach Diet, an excellent book by Dr. Agatsson. I strongly encourage you to take a look at the book. I think he has some updated versions actually since the version that I actually was able to read. The book is full of recipes and goes over a lot of the science that's involved and the reasons why you can say and believe this. One thing I want to highlight though is that this is for starch. It's for things like bread, rice, pasta, and so on. If you were to consider, say, low-fat ice cream versus regular ice cream, I think you'll probably find that both are just as fattening, and in particular that the low-fat ice cream is no less fattening than the regular ice cream because in either case you're getting a very strong insulin reaction and all the sugar, most of the sugar is being turned to fat. So why is it different with starch? In my opinion, or from what I can gather from my biochem background, uh, fat is impermeable to water, and the polysaccharides that are starch um, don't aren't water soluble. They're too heavy, too big, and so if they're covered by the fat, actually they're protected from the enzymes and the acidity of the stomach, which means that those enzymes have to get through the fat, or that fat has to be removed somehow for the sugars to get broken down and released. So this is probably where the biggest impact is felt. To a lesser degree, if you drink alcohol, you've surely noticed how different the effect of alcohol is if you're drinking on an empty stomach versus a full stomach. Having fat coating the stomach wall seems to hinder small molecules like sugar from getting through. So perhaps indeed having a regular ice cream has a little bit less of a sugar spike than the low fat type, but I don't imagine that it's really that big a difference. In any case, the last reason I can think of is just the fact that our body wants and needs sugar, fat, protein, and the micronutrients. And if you eat something that has fat in it, our body is designed and has been looking for this, and it's more likely to be satiated. So rich foods satiate more than non-rich foods, and perhaps enough to make you eat less. But in any case, this is an important thing to think about because it is very counterintuitive that you should eat fat. And it's very difficult to do when you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight. Why would you eat fat? Obviously, there's a balance question here. If you eat too much fat, it's going to be fattening, and if you eat fat for the wrong reasons, perhaps. But fat with starch really does slow down that absorption of sugars, and it's something that you should pursue. So switching tracks now, we'll be looking a little bit at the mental aspect of all this. And so to start, there's the question of willpower and how it's a limited resource. We only have so much that we can focus on during a given day. We could be focusing on pushing ourselves to work out when we're out of that habit, or on studying at night rather than watching TV, any number of things. And so if your diet and your weight control approach is one that's dependent on willpower, which is the case for, I think, most people, where if you're eating a diet that inherently is fattening and inherently makes you eat more than you really need to, and also that brings you into these low sugar states that are very, very taxing for the mind, very difficult to deal with, then the only way you can be slim is when you're pushing yourself really, really hard, and there's an opportunity cost there. You're by pushing yourself to not eat, you're draining your willpower, you're draining the energy that you have to do things, and that can be a very costly thing.